Hiya, pals. Hi, pals, and welcome to the Disneyland Paris Show. Here's your hosts, Lucy, Chris, and Hugh. Gosh. And now, Disneyland Paris news.
I can hear you, but no bombs.
Go.
As of 21st of July, a health pass will be required for all guests aged 18 years and older to visit Disneyland Paris.
A Disney cruise ship carries passengers for the first time in 16 months as the Disney Magic sets sails from Liverpool.
Standby Pass has been activated for the first time since reopening, taking Crush's coaster wait time from 65 minutes to 35 minutes.
The first few rows of solar-covered spaces are now in use at guest parking.
A Coco scene has been added to Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Davy Crockett Ranch has reopened for guests.
And this in the style of a celebrity death. UK government announced that fully vaccinated UK travellers returning from France would still have to quarantine, despite removing the requirement from other Amber List countries.
I apologise.
We heard that last
I'm
one.
sorry. Now, you might have all noticed that we're not together at the moment. And that's thrown some technicalities in because we're doing things that we used to do, not what we normally do, and I forgot to share the audio with you. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right, no worries. The reason is, as Chris pointed out, ironically, tomorrow is dubbed by the Daily Mail as Freedom Day, meaning that meaning that all restrictions are lifted. And it's this week that the Fletcher family have become
have decided to
have become isolated. I was going to say become isolated. They have to self-isolate because of exposure to COVID.
I don't. None of us have got it. My son's bubble has burst at school, so he's stuck at home. One of them, Lucas. God, I have to remember which one then. And then in the other side of things, Laura's work, someone's got it, so she's now to isolate. But it looks like probably. It's very unlikely either of us are going to, or any of us are going to get it. We're just stuck here because it made more sense to do this than come and ruin your lives if I did happen to have it.
Yeah, and better safe than sorry. But having said that, it probably would have made no difference because we have took a little trip to Germ Central today, which we will tell you about shortly.
Nice.
Anyway, let me tell you what's on this show today. So the current restrictions for Disneyland Paris, we're going to chat about them, who can visit, who can't visit, why, and what hoops you need to jump through if you want to visit. We also have updates on our travel plans. Spoiler, they've changed for the coming summer. And today we visited another UK Disney alternative, if we can call it that, and we're going to tell you all about it. We also want to hear about your video requests for us for the future. But first, we're going to chat about all those new headlines we've just had. So does anything take your fancy, boys? What do you want to chat about first? Item number 1 and item number 7 we'll talk about in a minute separately.
Okay. Well, it's nice that Davy Crockett Ranch is open again, isn't it? I'm going to jump straight into that one.
It is. That's the strange one because when they reopened last summer, supposedly properly reopened permanently, but then they didn't. Davy Crockett wasn't on the list, was it? That was going to be the last one to open.
No, and I
believe.
Isn't it slated to shut over the winter as well? So it's a short-term opening, I think, by the sounds of it, isn't it?
Is it?
It usually does have some kind of seasonal. Yeah. It's the first one to go, I think. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they must just be thinking.
We stayed there at Christmas.
We did.
Did you?
It was lovely.
That sounds nice.
Because you get a private cabin. We took We took a little Christmas tree with us and some lights, and we decorated the cabin. So it was really, really nice.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's a nice place to be in the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coco scene's been added to PhilharMagic. I haven't watched any of this. because it's just the kind of thing. It's only small, and it'd be nice to be spoiler free for that for when we eventually go. I do that, but I'm excited that they are treating that attraction, because it's only been in Paris for at time bends during a pandemic. I want to say a year, but it must be 2 years now.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's been there long anyway. It's been in the US a lot longer, but it's nice to know that it's going to adapt and change, and things are going to be added, maybe things are going to be taken away, because that's how these kind of attractions should be, I think.
It means it's hanging around as well, I guess, doesn't it? Yeah, cool.
It's evolving.
Yeah. Nice. It's really funny not being there, just so that you know. It's much easier to, without the pauses and things, it's much easier to gauge when I can speak and when I can't and things. So it's getting used to all that. We got really good at it, hadn't we, at one point? But now...
Yes, we had. I got used to watching your mouth.
Yes.
And it's a bit unfair on you, because we're in the same room and you're not, so we could easily dominate. I'll try shut up.
He's in the same room, but as himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
on my
that's
own.
not what you meant.
No.
Right, so they've started this standby pass. Now, we spent most of last week debating how this would work. Would it be better for the guest experience? Would it be worse? The only details I could get said that Crush's Coaster had reached 65 minutes. They implemented the pass and it went down to 35 minutes, but it doesn't say how long you have before you have to return to Crush's Coaster.
Yeah.
And with Crush's Coaster being in the studios, that was one of the ones I was worried about, because I'm like, if it's more than 2 hours, we probably wouldn't want to stay in the studios anyway, depending what we were doing. So that's interesting.
If you get your standby pass on the app, then it doesn't matter where you are, does it? So you get it, and if it's in 2 hours' time, you just head over to the studios in 2 hours' time in time for it. So it's not like at the moment where not the moment, like in the past where if you wanted a fast pass, you had to go physically to that location, queue for a fast pass, take your fast pass, and then decide what you were going to do with the time in between. It's kind of a bit better than that.
I might be dumb. I thought it was like that. I thought you had to go to a cast member to get your pass. Do you not?
I didn't think so. I thought it was all done on the app.
I wouldn't have thought so.
You just get it straight on the app?
I thought so, yeah.
It would be a strange thing to have to do. It must be on the app.
I know it says the icon on the app changes when it goes to being a standby pass.
Yeah.
To being a regular standby queue. They've got a little area opposite the entrance to Crush's Coaster where they were scanning apps. And I think that's what made me think. Because if you do baby swap in the US, in France, they used to give you a little paper ticket.
Baby swap.
A little baby swap.
Rider
swap.
Rider switch, passengers swap.
Yeah.
Baby swap. Well, we still call it that.
But in the US, you used to go to a cast member with an iPad at the front of an attraction, and they would sort it out for you and scan your thing. You couldn't do it on the app, so I presumed it was like that for some reason. I might be a little bit wrong.
No, on the website.
Finding out?
Yeah, on the website it says the new standby pass is a free service available via the official Disneyland Paris app.
And in fact,
fabulous.
Yeah, and in fact, Chris has just booked two passes for Thunder Mountain, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's in 6 weeks' time. That's the soonest I can go on it. That's how popular that ride is.
I'll take it.
So let's say you're having lunch in Plaza Gardens, you're having a chill out, you've only just got your food, you've sat down, you have a look, Crush's Coaster, standby pass for 2 hours, you think that would be nice, finish our lunch, do a little shop, wander over, Crush. Is that what you're saying? You can do that?
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Does sound better.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And when you know you're going to have to wait for 35 minutes, but you've got whatever time, does it matter? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Crush's Coaster under 60 minutes when I've been there. So
no,
that in itself, it seems like a good thing.
And it's one of those that gets to your 90 minutes and your 120 minutes on busy days. It's brutal.
Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, though. Here's the question. So you know that it's gone on to standby now for Crush's Coaster, and you know that you're going to have to queue for 35 minutes for Crush's Coaster if you get a standby pass to go on in, let's say, 2 hours' time, just because that's what we've been saying. Are you going to wait 2 hours and queue for half an hour, or are you going to pay €8 each or €16 each or whatever it's going to be to go on that ride?
You'd be amazed at the lengths I would go to save money, Chris. I walked to the White Rose Centre and back to save less than £5 on some delivery for 2 shirts. And I thought, Well, no, I'll save that money and I'll make a day of it, and I won't even get public transport. I'll walk there and back, and it was a what was it, 4-hour round trip on foot or something to save £5.
Good for your health, though.
So for me personally, Chris, no, I wouldn't pay that money.
But
honestly,
I think
Chris,
that's.
I mean.
I think that's my point. I think we had this big debate about the fast pass last week. If this is how the standby passes are going to work, people ain't going to give a monkeys about those fast passes. It is just for those people who want to buy their way into things and see it as a I don't know, a privilege to be able to afford to do it. Because a standby pass, if this is how it works, I think will work pretty well. If
it was wait 2 hours and wait an hour in a queue, which it could potentially have been, we didn't really know how it was going to go. Yeah, that would be a different matter. But you can manage your day, you can do things, you can do other attractions, you can shop, you can eat.
Yeah.
With those things, you don't just have to stare at paint drying for 2 hours. I think it's a good thing.
I agree.
Right. What have we said? Oh, the solar panels are there and giving shade for cars and creating energy at the same time. Do you know what? Most of you will know if you're in the UK and you're listening to this live, it has been 31 degrees today.
Unthinkable.
And when we got back in our car, which had been in an open car park, it was gross, basically. And to be able to park my car under something sheltered like that and get back into a nice, cool car.
That's nearly 88 degrees Fahrenheit.
Was that for Caitlin?
Yeah, it's for Caitlin. I can't fathom those numbers because for us it's like 0 means it's cold, and
0 is freezing and 100 is boiling.
And 0 is cold, 20 is warm, 30 is hot.
Yeah,
10's mild. So it just goes with 10's easy. This 100 degrees I get. It's everything below it. I can't figure it out. And inches. Oh, it's a 6 3/17 of an inch. What are you on about? Sorry.
Right. So and then the Disney cruise ship carries passengers for the first time in 16 months. Not strictly Disneyland Paris related, but joyful nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
They had fireworks on the docks, and like pyrotechnic things that weren't necessarily fireworks. You heard the horn that goes. Can
I say I don't like that horn. It sounds off. It sounds off, and it sounds kind of dark and foreboding. I really like every time I hear it on a vlog, I go. I've never said anything yet, but since you mentioned it, I wanted to get it out there.
Joy.
Magical.
Pure joy and magic. So regardless of whether we were booked or going or whether we will go, we'll talk about that in a second and all this kind of thing. I just think that that's a huge part of the Disney Parks and Experiences branch. And I know that we're all focused on, California's opened, Shanghai's opened, and the parks. But the cruise line is a industry as big as one of the parks. And it's just been dead, completely dead since last March. So the fact that we're able to put passengers on and it was able to be in the UK, I'm just chuffed to bits for everybody involved.
Yes.
And all the cast members and performers and
Stuff's happening. It's nice.
Stuff is happening, and it's nice that UK visitors got to do that because Chris, we got issues, mate.
Go on.
Okay. Well, Chris very fabulously did a breaking news video earlier this week, so some of you may be all caught up with this. First thing is you need a health pass to go to Disneyland Paris. Now, I've got the details here. I want to get this right for our listeners, so you'll excuse me if this is a little dry, but this is off the website. You must present a health pass in either digital or paper form, and it must verify one of 3 things, not all 3 things. It just has to verify one of these things. That you are vaccinated, or that you have had a PCR or antigen test within the last 48 hours, or that you are, well, it's a recovery certificate, but it basically says that you have had and have recovered from COVID-19 within a minimum of 11 days. So you've had a negative test within 11 days or less than 6 months.
So basically,
within the last 6 months, you've had it and you've recovered from it.
So you've had it, and they're comfortable that if you've had it within the last 6 months, then you probably ain't going to get it again or spread it.
Yes, but you do need proof of that by an antigen test.
Right.
A positive PCR, or hang on. Oh no, maybe a PCR will do. But they're promoting the antigen test. So with the vaccines, it has to be 2 weeks after your second shot for Pfizer, Moderna, or AstraZeneca, 4 weeks after your shot for Johnson & Johnson, or 2 weeks after the shot for vaccines administered to people who've already had COVID-19, but only 1 dose is necessary. So if you have a recovery, if you've already had it beyond 6 months, you only have to have had 1 vaccine.
There's a lot of bases covered there, isn't there? Like more than I thought there would be.
Yeah. It seems pretty thorough.
And what I'm relieved about, because this was a little confused online earlier in the week, is that you only have to have had vaccines or PCR tests, not both.
Yes.
And it does say in the last 48 hours, so you were correct, Chris, if you're not vaccinated, it's probably going to be the younger folk, and you go to Disneyland Paris, if you're staying for 4 days, you will have to have another PCR test.
Buffalo Bills will become your friend because that's where you can go and buy them.
That's why Buffalo Bills has converted itself into a testing centre, which in itself, and just every so often you think of surreal things that have happened in the last 12 months. That's another really surreal thing, isn't it?
You can go and get branded. Get branded by Buffalo Bills.
Yeehaw!
Well, according to some people, that's it's not far off the truth, is it? According to some people,
we don't go down there. There was one more thing that got put in the wrong bit. Oh, you have to present a valid ID with your health pass, and they have to match.
Right.
I think it's quite official, your NHS app, isn't it? So you can have your full name on there. But a lot of my documentation says Lucy instead of Lucinda.
What? My middle name has a misspelling on throughout the NHS. My middle name has always been Alvin. There'll be people thinking like, well, what could it be if it's not Alvin? My middle name's actually Alwyn, but on the NHS it's always been Alvin. So I think I'm gonna have to get that sorted. I could just imagine just being at a gate and saying, look, Hugh Alvin Rain and Hugh Alwyn Rain, they're not going to be 2 different guys, are they? Like, come on, mate. It's just the difference between, like, they thought that a curve was a V shape.
Yeah.
So I should get that sorted out, really.
I mean, yeah, you probably should, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always been that way.
I'd have to check with my NHS thing, but I get a lot of documentation for Lucy Rain. In fact, most of it, because that's what I think my name is. My name's actually Lucinda Rain. So you do need to check these things, don't you?
They've said as well, haven't they? At the beginning of the week, they said it was for everyone over the age of 12. Then they backtracked on that until August, when it will be everybody over the age of 12. But for now, it's over 18, isn't it? Who needs to be providing this information? Fun.
Yeah.
That's what we want, is more bureaucracy when we go abroad.
Well, I mean, I will just say, we had a comment on your video, actually, Chris. I'm afraid I haven't got it up, so I can't credit them. But they said, I believe they're a British person, but they're saying, as somebody living in France, they're really glad it's happening. And I also saw figures that vaccinations...
Stephen Johns.
That vaccination had gone up something like... vaccination registration had gone up 85% within the 24 hours after that was announced.
They had like a million people subscribed in that on that day for their vaccines.
Yeah, you see, that'll do. That's what I said to you. You messaged me with this news, and I went, "Yep, that'll do it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's everyone can moan and fly as much as they want, but when it comes to it, I think people just go, "Oh, okay then." You know. Just
speaking of that video, can I just say to anybody who's watching that this shirt has been through the wash since I did that. It's just that with it being very hot and sweaty today, this is the first Disney shirt I could grab hold of.
I've been wearing this since Friday, and it's now Sunday, and I haven't washed it.
Cool.
So if people are interested in knowing that, I'm disgusting.
Says more about you than me, yeah.
There's a question about this actually from
About
Andrew.
our smelly shirts?
No.
Oh.
Andrew says, can Europeans go to Disney theme parks in the USA?
Right,
Wow.
We'll get
Wow.
to that. We will get to that.
Yes, we will.
Not yet. But
Calm your
all of
passions.
this so far is irrelevant. Well, no, is it irrelevant? Basically, the UK government announced the week before last, I can't remember the exact date, that you no longer had to quarantine if you were visiting amber countries and you were fully vaccinated.
Awesome news.
Okay? Awesome news.
Yes.
This meant we could go to Paris. And
Fantastic.
then on Friday, I believe.
This Friday, just gone.
Was it Friday?
When Hubert put that shirt on for the first time.
Yeah. They announced this excluded France.
What?
France wasn't moving to red. It wasn't moving to green. It wasn't doing anything. It was still amber, but it excluded France. And the reason is they have got a prevalence of the beta virus. Now, we currently have the Delta virus running rampant, and everywhere's got the Delta virus. So there's no point keeping people out because we've got it anyway. It's not going to change the situation. What we don't want is a new variant coming in. So even though the figures and the vaccination rates and everything else put them into amber, they're staying in amber for those reasons, but we can't visit there really because it's a beta variant. Now, the thing is, there are some British people that I know who are there this week. They live down south. They had the ability to go, we're allowed to go to France. Yay, Eurostar, boom. And they went. And this comes into effect on Monday. So I think if they don't come back today, they'll have to quarantine for 10 days starting tomorrow. Now, some people will take the 10-day quarantine, people who work from home. To be realistic, Hugh is currently working from home and I get the 6-week teacher holidays and so does Bonnie. If we wanted to go, we'd be perfectly capable of doing it. But it removes it as a realistic option for a lot of people.
Everything's against us. And 5 million people have had batches of AstraZeneca, which is not recognised yet.
Including you.
Including me.
Mine are both good, by the way, Hugh, just so that you know.
Mine are.
Good for you. So yeah, everything's against us.
Yeah.
So
but the thing is, like that depends on people like our individual security members at border control. Are they going to be checking that? I don't think so.
Well, this is what we've heard, and I think Eurostar have kind of, on the "ooh, by the way" disclaimer, basically said they won't be checking the batch number, but they can't say that officially, can they? But they've basically said it.
I mean, just on this rag status, right? So red, amber, green. That's what we've agreed to. That's three things. We now have five different levels on our rag status now, don't we? Mm-hmm. They just keep adding new things. So what's the point? It infuriates me. And why are France singled out for this? Because this beta variant's been around for quite a long time, from what I understand. It just hasn't been very prevalent. This
is the South Africa one that scared us in the autumn last year, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's been around a long time.
Almost as long as the Alpha variant.
Yeah.
From a personal point of view, we're going to get onto the timeline of events in the next segment, but this really knocked me for six for the reasons you're saying. Is that the government the most recent tack is they want to stop flip-flopping, they want to stop U-turning. Whatever they do, they want to be certain that they do it permanently. And so that's why they sort of say they're delayed coming out of lockdown, and because when we do, we want it to stick and all that kind of thing. And then they made this announcement about amber countries and the vaccine. And I'm so naive and trusting. I just thought, right, that's locked in. Now, I knew that they said that there was always a possibility that countries could be downgraded to red. We understood that. And we also know when they do that, because they announced in advance there will be another travel update on this day. So you think, well, we're okay for it till at least that date. And then for no reason, they pull this one, which is the opposite of what they promised to do. The absolute opposite. They promised the travel industry, they promised the British public that they were starting to be forward thinking and they were making permanent decisions, and then they just didn't.
But hey, we're allowed to go out and do what we like from tomorrow, so that's good, isn't it? Within the country.
Freedom.
Woohoo!
I do know that there was someone, I was just trying to look it up, one of our followers on Twitter when we posted it said, well, that's a final nail in the coffin for our summer trip then. So I know it's happening to other people.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
It's just a nightmare. So, right, the other question. Can European visitors visit US parks? If we're talking US Disney parks, there's no restrictions on who can go in to the parks. They're not doing temperature checks anymore. They're not requiring masks anymore, but there is talk of them starting to require them inside again because they've had another peak. But other than that, there's no health pass, there's no PCR tests, there's no nothing in the US. However, European travellers cannot get to the US at the moment. Right, let's talk about that because that comes into our travel updates. I'm sorry, I've got an eyelash in my eye for anyone watching us on the video at the moment. So, our flights to Florida on the 22nd of August were cancelled. Now, for a long time, there was no talk of UK or European people being allowed into the US, but for the last sort of month to 3 weeks, there's been a lot of, I really have to sort this eye out, I'm sorry. There's been an awful lot of talk about something else.
So the thing about eyelashes.
Well, let's.
What's going on in the chat, Hugh?
Caitlin Jackson does actually use metric, even though she's in the States. Because
I'm glad to hear it.
Because she's a scientist.
I always thought you were one of the good ones, Caitlin.
Yeah. That's all I've got, Chris.
That's it.
Vamp. What else? Well, everything I've got to talk about is kind of. Oh God, I'm really floundering here.
Well, I can tell you something.
Eric Lucy.
I can tell you something. It was Andrew Palmer, our listener Andrew Palmer's birthday this week. He was 41 years old, and to celebrate,
Still there, but I'm going
he'd
to
invite.
go back and just wink at you all.
To celebrate, he'd invited us to...
Sorry about that.
He's talking. Dear. He's talking, dear. She can't hear you, that's why. Go on.
The conversation doesn't stop when you leave the room, you know. It was his 41st birthday, and he'd arranged for us all to go around to his house and have fish and chips and bubbly and stuff. And then we got in lockdown stuff for Lucas and then for Laura as well, and then his wife Heather has broken her ankle as well, so she's stuck and she can't move. So gradually, from one thing after another, the whole thing had to stop. But today, Andrew brought fish and chips to our door to wish himself a happy birthday and to feed us, which was rather awesome. So we had fish and chips for lunch, courtesy of Andrew Palmer.
That was nice of him.
Really nice.
That was very nice.
So I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday because
fish and chips on a Sunday.
And fish and chips on a Sunday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Andrew.
Happy birthday, Andrew. Might have got it.
Oh, look, Natasha's here.
Oh, hello, Natasha. Just
Hello,
to see me get really unprofessional because I had an eyelash in my eye. I've recovered.
Oh, she's going to Paris in October, DLP in October. She says, what's the news?
Oh.
What's the latest?
Get ready to quarantine.
Natasha.
Well, Natasha.
Yeah. Well, no, hopefully we'll have gone by then. We've just been talking travel updates and what a nightmare it is. And I'm just going to go on to our travel plan. So we were meant to be going to Florida on the 22nd of October. When, as I was saying last month, there has been rumbling that there's a lot of pressure on Biden to open the restrictions because there's no longer any scientific reason to keep them shut. And Europe and the UK have opened them for US residents can now come here, but we can't go there. So on Wednesday night, our flights went off sale. And we knew that if they went off sale, that means they were about to be cancelled.
She's noticed when flights get taken off sale, it's because they're about to be cancelled. So yeah.
So we emotionally we had 24 hours to prepare. On Thursday, Angela Merkel was visiting the White House, and it was tipped that she was going to lean on Biden again. Don't know how, because he's a lot taller than her. Yeah. About the travel updates. And so with the time difference, their press conference was going to be at 9:30 at night, and I was at work at about 7:30, and the flights got cancelled for the 22nd. And then I went home and watched the press conference, and Biden says we're going to do an announcement in the next couple of days. Now, there's a lot of things going on here. I have to give you the timeline. The DVC website is down for maintenance for 3 days, and that includes the phone lines because they all use the same system. So I can't cancel our hotel reservation. It's down for maintenance. So I didn't. Our return flights are still booked, so that's not changed. Tickets, not changed, because I want to change everything else first. But we had contacted our friends about booking a Disneyland Paris trip. We had researched it, priced it up, and were ready to book a Disneyland Paris trip. And then on Friday, they closed France. So here we are with 2 half holidays.
Yeah.
So I did a cheeky thing. I went on, and flights for the 23rd were still on sale. So I moved our cancelled flights to the 23rd. So as of now, we still have the Florida holiday booked.
It's getting desperate now, Chris.
It's like the last shred of hope. We'd even
take one less day.
It'll be 12 days instead of 13 days, basically.
And when the DVC offices open up again, are you going to move your first day to your last day?
At the moment, there's no availability that I'm aware of.
Okay.
It was really, really tight. I'm going to see I don't know if we can move the flights, because the reason we could move the flights was because they were cancelled. I don't know if they'll let you move just random flights. We'll just take one less day. I mean, it's better than nothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's also really desperate. But the timing matters, because we know that in the next few days, Biden is going to make an announcement, and it's a real race, because they've been doing them in weekly blocks between British Airways cancelling that flight and Biden making that announcement. And I genuinely think it's a race between the two. And then if he says they're not opening it before September, well, it's all over, isn't it? But we're still clinging on. But the stupid thing is that I was this close to cancelling the whole Florida thing and booking a Paris thing, and just fate and timing and the fact that the website was having maintenance for 3 days stopped me.
So it could be a good thing then. I tell you what, I think you could write a film about your experience over the last year for this. Honestly, you could make a film about it.
And
crazy.
The last little,
really boring.
The last
film.
little shred
I'd
of hope
watch
we've
it.
got is the last shred of hope we've got is going on the Disney staycation cruise, and we feel like we're on borrowed time, because Bonnie's school bubble hasn't burst yet, and any day it could, and any time from now that bursts, it's over for us for going on that cruise as well. And I'm emotionally prepared for it, because it feels inevitable at this point.
The one saving grace with that is it's 100% refund if you cancel for COVID reasons. You have to provide the test results and stuff like that. 100% refund, and I would just book another one from either Southampton or Newcastle.
Yeah,
I'd just
and then hope the same thing doesn't happen again.
And then hope the same thing doesn't happen again. But also, listeners, for context, our daughter's school does 5 weeks in the summer and 2 weeks in May, as opposed to all the other UK schools that do 1 week in May and 6 weeks in the summer. But that means that she doesn't break up till the 29th, and we are due to sail on the 30th. So we don't have any leeway. We're right up to the button there. And I'm just like, don't hold hands with anyone. Don't hug anyone. Don't breathe in anyone's direction. Don't lick anyone's face.
Which is exactly why when I knew that Laura and Lucas couldn't go out of the house, I contacted you guys and said, look, I don't think I should come to the rain wing this week. I should stay on my side of the house, because I didn't want to risk ruining your holiday for you with everything else that's gone on over the last year.
Wow. I know. This is like my weekly therapy session, telling everyone how much Disney's breaking my heart.
But the thing is, Chris, if we're going to catch it, it would have been today.
Yeah.
Just before we get onto that, I'm aware that Natasha came here to say, what's the latest for Disneyland Paris? We've booked for October. First of all, how exciting for your daughter's first trip to go to Disneyland Paris. Second of all, I missed out a tiny bit of news.
I've still got a present for you guys, Natasha, for Ariana.
I didn't think this was worthy of news, but I thought you'd enjoy talking about it, boys, so I put it on my list. You know the Laugh and Go food truck that's arrived?
Oh, yeah.
And it's really good menu.
Cheese and vegetables, yeah.
Cheese and vegetables
in a pot
soft
this
cheese.
big.
They've added a dessert. Okay.
Is it cheesecake?
It's a laughing cow yogurt.
Actually, it does sound quite nice, but it's also so weird for theme park food. It is a laughing cow cheese rice pudding with apricot preserve. Just what every child wants.
I wasn't far off.
After a day in a theme park.
Nutella coated Baby Bell.
Do you know those Nutella shortbreads are looking better and better, aren't they? At least you know what you're getting. It just seems very weird and like a bit divisive. Like, you know, some fussy kids won't want that. You just think they would maximise. It's why, like, when I see sweet corn in a sandwich, and I just think, why have you added that? All that's doing is just like increasing the amount of people that don't want that sandwich.
We had a barbecue yesterday, and I had 4 pieces of corn on the cob. So I'm a big corn man, mate.
Not 4 individual pieces of sweet corn.
No.
It's just, thing is that we often criticise Paris for not being inventive with its food. We do want more of those iconic snacks, those Instagrammable amazing snacks. We don't get enough in Paris.
These are Instagrammable.
Rice pudding really wasn't what I was thinking of.
Rice pudding.
What a strange addition.
The cheese thing really is mocklet, though, isn't it? You know, I mean, we said this a couple of weeks ago, but it really is. They're just finding a way to put the smallest amount of la vache qui rit into whatever it is that they're making to call it something. Honestly, and quite seriously, why don't they use the cream cheese and Nutella to make a chocolate cheesecake? People would be happy with that. Hazelnut chocolate cheesecake, perfect.
Yeah, and do those little white chocolate discs with the picture on, and just plonk it on the top. That's all we need, guys.
With the Avengers, done. Like the Avengers symbol on it.
Or the slice, because it's triangular, could be the Avengers A from the logo, although it is in a circle. Interesting.
The plate's
you
a
can
circle.
work on it.
Yeah. What?
The plate is a circle. Done.
Okay. Yeah. We did it. We did it, guys.
Well done. High five.
We're Imagineers.
Having said that, the park, I don't know if it's because I'm Disney starved at the moment, but the park is looking glorious from the pictures I've seen. Everything is looking spangly and new. I really like that castle in a box. I don't know what it is. Whenever I see pictures of it, I think looking good.
Can I say, Natasha and I sung Love is an Open Door on stage once. We smashed it.
Very good.
Indeed. Right. So, yeah, if we were going to pick up COVID anywhere, it was going to be today. We spent another day visiting.
He's got a present to open.
An alternative, a UK Disney alternative.
Chris, I mean, I think Lucy told you where we were going, so it's not that big a surprise. Because today I was going, let's not tell Chris, we'll tell him on the show. But she said, I think I've already told him. So you know that we went to Gulliver's Valley.
I didn't know. She said Gulliver's. Now, I know there are lots of different Gulliver's things around, so I didn't know which one.
Yeah.
Am I to open this now?
Yes. So Chris got me this pencil I'm using now from Sundown Adventureland, the pink pencil that I always use for the show. So we've returned the favour with a... do you know what that character's called? That mouse on top of the Gulliver's Valley pencil? Can you guess? No. Just take the word Gulliver and see if you can make something out of that.
Gully,
yeah. His female counterpart is called
Lily. Lily.
She's called Gilly.
No, it should be Lily. Shut. Gee, it's the Lilliputians. It's Lily. Why would you call it Gilly?
Yeah, are you sure she's called Gilly?
Yeah. Gilly and Gully.
Lily would make sense.
Lily would make far more sense.
Anyway, basically,
it says Gully on the pencil, by the way. It says Gully on it.
one of my students is part of the entertainment team there doing princess parades and magic shows and stuff like that. And we were given free tickets to go and see her perform today. But obviously we spent a full day in a theme park. I have to admit, our expectations were being Disney fans, and we always say we're not theme park people. Our expectations were quite low, but we did know it would be a lovely day out as a family with a child because it's geared towards that thing. Now, the thing is, we couldn't believe how much it was Disney light. We pulled up and there was a castle.
Yeah.
There was a castle.
Yeah, but the castle was in the center of a giant black warehouse. And this is so unimpressive when you approach it. But actually, do you know what? Rather than this being like a slag off fest, we had a really good day, didn't we?
We did.
And actually, I went in with my expectations at rock bottom.
Excellent. So, always the best place to start.
And I was pleasantly surprised by the place.
It was very clean. It was very well put together. It's like, I don't know how much.
It's very clean, your granddad.
I don't know how much Disneyland Paris costs to build, but imagine you say, build me Disneyland Paris for about, can you do it for 250,000? Right, go on then, build it like that. So they just don't have the budget there. But what they did, the rides were good. It was creative. It was clean. The cast members, the staff members were fantastic from start to finish. To say it's going to be mainly younger part-time staff, summer jobs, even operating the rides, even at the merchandise locations, everyone was so cheerful and smiling.
They were excellent.
They really were excellent.
And just before it changes, I'm just recreating a drink that I had when I was there, right? And I put some blackcurrant in the bottom, and I've put some Vimto mango and strawberry in the top, because I'm spilling it. Hang on.
There were refillable slushes.
Right. At this place, there's these refillable slushes in these tall, thin.
We've got some of those from when we went to Lightwater Valley last year, and we've been filling them up and making slushies in the freezer yesterday because of the weather.
But we've got some of these with palm leaves on, which I much prefer. But
nice.
At one point, I looked around and I realised everybody had these because you could get refills. So I've had 2 today slushies. Get refills for £2, and at one point I just thought, are we in a cult? Is there something in this? Because everybody had one, and like no one was drinking anything else apart from these slushies. And every place you went to, they had slushy machines. It was a bit weird. It was cultish.
Just keeping you hydrated on this hot day.
But I mean, we went to Legoland and had a medium time. We don't tend to go to theme parks in general. And I have to say, it reminded me what I love about going to a Disney park, because it was the 3 of us doing daft stuff. There was cast members dressed up as pirates, we're having like little interactions with them and enjoyable photo spots and playing together in queues and chatting and playing games. And it reminded me what I love about Disney parks, other than the Disneyness, is the family day. And I think we wanted to talk about it because, no, it's not Disney and it never will be, but there's a lot of elements that were there. There were princess meet and greets, there were pirate meet and greets.
And they wouldn't break character either.
No, wouldn't break character.
Because we knew one of them. And Lucy asked her a question, and she said, Lucy said, are you going to be doing the dance soon? And she said, so I'm just going to go up to the castle now. Well, okay.
Well, basically, she'd asked the princesses do a kind of flash mob thing, and she'd said, come to the park for the day, here's the free tickets, but would you mind videoing this flash mob for me while you're there? Because I don't have a copy of it. Would you do it? And I said, yeah, sure thing. And then we had our photo taken, and Bonnie had a photo taken, and Bonnie wandered away, and I went, what time's the flash mob and where would you like me to stand? And she just didn't react. Yeah. I mean, thumbs up for your commitment there. Well done. Thank
professional.
You. Professional work there, Abby. Good girl.
So, have you vlogged it? Are you going to put a video together? Have you got some footage and stuff? Or?
I've put together a little I don't know what you call it, a little sizzle reel type of thing.
Yeah. I wish now we had.
I'll do it this week.
I was halfway through the day before it occurred to me, do you know what? It would have been good to vlog this because as far as I knew, we were just kind of going out, to a park kind of thing. But Bonnie was filming things and Hugh was filming things, so something might go up there.
And how much? I know you had tickets. But how much does it cost? Is it something you go again to? They're my two questions.
I believe it's about £19.
Okay.
Ticket.
Is it? That's good. And actually, Chris, because we're no longer going to, we're probably not going to be in Disney World for Bonnie's birthday, or Paris or anywhere Disney. We actually said to her, "Do you want to come back here for your birthday, maybe?" So and we said, "Oh, we could invite all the dag lot, as we call you guys, our circle of friends." So. But we'll be in touch with you about that, Chris.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. But so, we'll all pile over there one day, perhaps, and just have a fun.
Doesn't that sound good?
I'll tell you what, though, the one thing, and this is the Disney touch, the floor was just tarmac. But you know what, though, I'm not going to slag it off too much because it was, but also I don't want to build it up too much. But it was a lot better than I expected. Put it that way.
I would judge it against Sundown, I imagine, when I went. It's
hard to judge it against Disney, but I tried not to because it's that.
No, you can't.
It's just a different world, is that? You can't compare them.
It's nice to go places and look for similarities, though, isn't it? Because I think, I know I said this at the time last year, but when we went to Sundown last year, even though I've been before, because I went with my Disney head on, I enjoyed it so much more because when I saw things, I was literally looking and going, "Oh, that's like this and that's like that," and I really want to go and do that again. And that made me enjoy it all the more. Yeah,
and we went on. I think I counted 13 attractions.
Wow.
No queues.
Some of that includes one of that was a playground for Bonnie, and another one was like a sort of a walkthrough for kids. It's a very kiddie park, I'll say that. You basically take your kids there, and you can go on some of the rides, but it's mostly for the kids.
Right.
I will say that.
Very good.
So I'm gonna wrap it up there now. So in summary, we nearly booked a Disneyland Paris trip and then we didn't. And British people have to quarantine if they go there, and you have to be vaccinated or tested, and so on. All the details are here in the show. But I wanted to ask, we're going on the cruise, touch wood, the week after next. I've got a couple of videos planned before we go. I'm going to do 5 things I'm packing for the cruise I wouldn't pack for any other Disney holiday. And I'm also going to do what my expectations are. But I wondered if there was any, and you can tell me on Twitter, Facebook, or in the comments, if there was any videos that you would like to see from the cruise or before the cruise. So I could do an outfits one, or when we're on the cruise, if it's you're like, I really want to see the pool deck, we could do a tour of the pool deck, or you really want to see this, want to see the other, because we are going to be vlogging the whole time that we're on the cruise. We do that for fun. So, if there's anything you particularly want to see, just let us know and we'll make sure we make it a priority. There are things that it's a bit dodgy to film. Pool decks are hard because you don't want to get other semi-naked people in the shot. But if that's what you want to see...
Well, some people do want to get semi-naked people in shot, which is the problem.
Yeah. The reason I'm pointing out that one, because if you do want to see that, I'll make sure I get up at 6 in the morning and go for a quick wander around when there's no one there. If you're not bothered about seeing the pool deck, I won't. So just kind of let me know what you'd like to see.
Cool. Well, I'd like you to walk every inch of the boat, please, and film all of it. Just literally, like Google Maps almost. Go and capture every last little bit.
Was that?
I think maybe
including all the rooms. I want you to go and knock on every room, and I want you to be able to go in and capture everything.
That was it. It's because Lucy's organised something to do with Bonnie, and she said, and while we're doing that, Hugh can just do his Hugh thing and just go off. And I said, yeah, I'd like to just walk around, but I hadn't planned on vlogging it, but I could just do like those creepy, quiet walkthroughs that people just walk around and they don't say anything. Like you see them all the time.
Yeah. I've started watching those at the gym on the treadmills. You can get YouTube on the gyms, and I've been watching.
I'll do one of them.
A Magic Kingdom walkthrough, And the sound's on. I put my headphones on, but there's no one talking. You can just hear the music and just walk down Main Street. I'm so sad. Never as a girl needed to go to a Disney park more than I do right now. This is what I've reduced myself to.
Hugh, if you're doing that, would you do me a favour? Would you just, before you go, watch the Black Cauldron again? Because I know how much you like the theme tune and the theming from it. Learn some of that music, and I'd love it if you just eerily whistle the whole way as you walk around. I think that'd be really cool.
I did like the music in that. Same composer as Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Right, before we go, let us know who's in the chat.
I might do one of those.
Yes.
What? Who's in the chat?
Just see if there's anything gone on in the chat before I say goodbye.
Nothing new. Emily's joined us again from Australia, which is good. I was a bit cheeky. She said good morning, and I said hi, Emily, and I put a little koala emoticon next to it. But is that insulting?
No,
I think that might be insulting.
I don't know.
You know, what's the equivalent for us? If someone sent us a picture of a beef eater and we go like, well, we live nowhere near.
Apple,
we live nowhere near a beef eater.
Well,
that would be insulting. Yeah, we had Andrew's been lively in the chat, and at one point he said, "Who's the guy on the right?"
It's me.
Which amused us.
Yes.
I could see Chris smirking at one point, and I was smiling too while Liz was talking.
We had apologies as well, didn't we, today? We had apologies from Mark Chester. He's driving his trains today, so he couldn't make it, unfortunately.
We should have done those at the top of the show, like at a AGM.
But does that mean me Julie wasn't there either? Or has Julie been here just silent?
Oh, maybe.
Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up now. So we're going to record a classic show after this.
Emily liked it.
But it's not a classic. We're going to be chatting about the Disney Plus series Loki this week, and then Wreck-It Ralph is coming the week after next. So you can like, subscribe, leave reviews on iTunes, put comments about the videos down below if you're on YouTube. You know where we are. And if you want to give us a little hand with the small bits of technology that we need, you can also find us on Patreon. All these details will be in the link below. Thank you very much for joining us. Please, somebody go to a Disney park soon and tell us all about it, and we'll all sit and listen like this.
Send us some footage and I'll play it.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. So thank you all for listening, and goodbye.
Bye.